Hello, this is Sky. I'm back after a year to talk about the transition phase that we're going through right now, which is rocking us all pretty much. So, I think most of us have really been feeling a lot of need for a lot more silence, and we've been a lot less social than we have been. And a lot of issues have maybe come up. It's been quite a difficult time. I mean, I can say that for myself, that I have really felt that, been feeling that. And I have heard it from a lot of people around me also, that everybody just feels the need to be at home, spend a lot of time by themselves, and just be a lot quieter than we are usually. And have also gone through quite some hard times for one reason or the other. And so what's going on is that we are in this very intense shift right now, where the energies and the vibrations on Earth are rising exponentially, and it's going very fast. So our bodies and our souls have to be adjusted in the process. So there's a recalibration taking place that affects all levels. It affects our mental level, our heart level, and our physical level. So a lot of us also have symptoms, either pains somewhere that they cannot explain where they come from, or insomnia, they can't sleep. I've been waking up a lot in the middle of the night. And yes, that's part of it. So what I was told by my star people was that this process is a little bit like puberty. It's an intense growth process where a lot of things get out of whack in the readjustment period, because the energies that are changing on the earth of course affect everybody on it, and we have to be readjusted to match these energies. And this adjustment period is taking place for everybody on a very individual level according to where they are at. So it's like a fine-tuning process that is different for everybody, and that's also the reason why we feel a much bigger need to spend some time by ourselves, because when we are with other people, our energies and vibrations are kind of connecting with other people's energies and vibrations. And when we are alone, it's more it's easier for the fine tuning process to occur than when our energies are mixed up with other people's energies and vibrations. And there's a lot of feelings of insecurity that have been coming up lately for a lot of people, I noticed. And yeah, I can include myself in that as well. It's feelings that are very prevalent in humanity, the feeling of insecurity, not being enough, not being worthy. And in this process of all the energies raising, it's important that all the spiritual dirt, so to speak, has to be cleaned out of the system. So everything that hasn't been healed is coming to the surface, to get a chance to leave. And because everything goes so fast, it also is quite an intense cleaning of a lot of things. So the feeling of insecurity also has a lot to do with the ego, because we have generally been identifying with our ego and what we kind of present towards the outside, whereas that's not at all what we are. And right now, we're all being recalibrated to the one source that nourishes everything, all of life. The life source, the life energy, or the divine energy, whatever you want to call that. And when we separate ourselves from that life energy, we become individualized entities, and we think that we are this ego, this entity. And we identify with it rather than directing us towards this life source. And in this ego, we can either be boosted to think that, what we present is so great and we are so impressive, which is a false belief. Or it can direct us to feeling too small, not enough, insecure, which is equally false, because we are just an expression of that life energy, of this life source. And when we direct ourselves towards that, connect ourselves to this life energy, to this life force, then that's what nourishes us, and we are just an expression of it. And so everything that is not connected to that life energy, that life force, that divine force right now, is eventually being addressed. And it's really helpful if we make a conscious effort to direct all our projects, orient all our project to, or connect all of our projects to that life force, to that divine energy, and hand it over and say, look, you take it, I am the instrument in carrying it out, but the outcome is not in my hands, and I'm handing it over. And we can do this the best when we spend some time in stillness, when we spend some time in meditation, in nature, when we really reconnect with who we truly are, and feel ourselves as an expression of life. So the other thing is that we are now straddling dimensions in a way, because there's more than one dimension right now taking place on this earth, and possibly in our lives. And so that's something that I have understood for myself, that this has been a problem, because on the one hand I am acting or living in a higher dimension, where I am very concentrated on all my single actions, putting a lot of love in everything that I do, being mindful, being slow-paced, tuning into things and people and situations, and just feel the stillness. On the other hand, I am busy with these things of life, these issues of life, with life that is much more fast paced than a human being could actually, or is built for handling, because our lives are so fast, especially through the digitalization, that it's much too fast actually for a healthy life. So when you're in this fast-paced life, you are hurrying from one thing to the next. You don't really give it all your energy because you're not able to, and you're not centered. And that's also where you could become frustrated a lot with things that are not working, or not getting the result that you want, etc. And not really being in tune with yourself or with what you're working on. So both of these dimensions are taking place on Earth right now. We're kind of in between, or we're jumping from one to the other, in between them. And it creates a bit of confusion because they are not similar to one another very much. And it's good to realize when you're where, because we cannot, at the moment, we're still in both. It's not one or the other. And then, something about the recalibration process for all human beings. It is happening. And it's happening more intensely to those that are very open. So the more open you are, the more you can feel this recalibration process. But it's also happening to those that are not so open, except slower. Those people who kind of carry on in their realities that they have been used to, they are also experiencing a recalibration process, but their worlds are maybe staying closer to the world that they knew. And they are kind of going into a different density that is existing parallel. And right now, it's a split in realities in a way. So there is a reality that is moving on a much higher density, and then there's a reality that continues on a lower density. And they exist parallel, and we will see how that plays out in our lives. But the gaps drift further and further apart, because there's a reality right now where the density is getting higher and higher very quickly, and the one that is on a lower density just has a different speed. So you can see that in this recalibration process there are a lot of different ends, both in our individual energetic constitution as well as the energetic constitution of realities, and it's all becoming readjusted to eventually unite, so everybody will be there eventually. But on different paths. So the best thing that we can do right now is really to find the eye of the storm inside of us. Find the stillness and reconnect to the divine source that nourishes everything and everyone. And everything that is not connected to that source will not, on the long run, hold out. So it's best to make an effort before it just gets swept away. Sorry about that. That was my email. Yes, and remember that we are not who we think we are. We are all just expressions of this life force. And when we get an inspiration to do something or to not do anything, all of that is an expression of that life force. So we have a particular idea of what it looks like when we are well-functioning people, or when we are productive members of society, whereas the life processes might be very different. And for example, when you have a flower blooming, you can't hurry it up to bloom. It will just slowly unfold its petals and close them again, maybe slightly, when the evening comes, like the little daisies on the lawn. And you can't force it open. So whatever processes are happening inside of us and with us right now, they also need time. And we don't need to force ourselves to be super productive, super energetic, super outgoing, super successful in what we think are the best versions of ourselves, because that's artificial and ego-based. The natural processes of growth are different. When a seed sprouts, it just slowly comes out of the earth. Slowly, slowly. You can barely see it. So give yourself time. And wishing you much stillness. Bye.